Remarkables. Thank you so much for watching the Social Life Diaries. I'm Ashley Tate, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. I want to talk to you all about how to work from home with children and still stay productive. So I've been working from home for probably 13 years. Ever since my daughter was born, I have had the opportunity to work from home, and I love that. I've done event planning from home. I've done public relations from home. I have started online businesses like this from home, and I love it. I love being home. Now, I'm naturally an extrovert, but I think that there's an energy that I do get from being home and being by myself and then being able to go out and socialize. Unfortunately, while I'm creating this video, we are going through a crisis, a pandemic in our country, and we're not able to actually get out and have that social interaction. So I wanted to come on and just explain a few things, because now that my kids are home, it also makes a big difference in how I am doing my work schedule. So I just wanted to give a few tips today. Here we go. I really want to start with mindset, because for you to work from home with kids and with everything else going on, really your mindset is key. And how you're going to approach this new period of time or this new way of working is important, because you have to accept your new level of productivity. Maybe before you were able to get a ton of things done, you had 8 straight hours of work, or you were able to work 5 hours straight without interruptions. That's just not going to happen at home. And so I think the best thing you can do is really set your mind up to really just grapple with that and understand and accept that that's just the way things are going to be. So my kids are 10 and 13, and those are fun ages, I feel like, and they're a little easier. I don't have young kids, but I have been working through having young kids and all those things, and I feel like the tips are still relatively the same. So let's jump right into that. So tip number 1 is all about your mindset. Make sure you understand that you're going to have a new level of productivity. It will not probably be the same level that you've had before without kids home, and I'm definitely seeing that, trying to learn this whole homeschooling thing. Number 2 is all about creating the periods of time that when you're going to do specific things. So when you're going to work, when are your work hours? When are your home hours, like where you take care of all of your domestic things that you do, cooking, cleaning, laundry, all of those types of things? When are you going to do that type of work? And then your relaxation period. And the reason I think that it's so important to do that is because you have a lot of different hats to wear when you're working from home. You still have your things that you have to do from home, and your spouse and your children expect you to have certain things done. And then you also have your own personal work schedule that you'd like to keep, and you need a period of time to relax. Everybody needs that in every single day. And they should be periods where you're not going to be interrupted doing anything else, and that's okay. And I really feel like that is an important piece of being fulfilled, building a remarkable business, building a remarkable life. You really have to have those periods. So you can't be working all the time. So my third point is all about creating a fulfilled life on a daily docket. And the reason I say that is when you create this daily docket, what that does is it is all the things that make you feel most optimal in your day. So on my daily docket, I generally have things like vitamins, workout, drink 6 water bottles. I have my little water bottle that I use, 6 water bottles of water. I want to make sure that I wake up and do my hair, get dressed, all those things. Those types of things, like your normal everyday things, are not on there, but the things that make me feel most optimal are on there. And not that they get done every single day, but when I want to go back to like, gosh, what did I not do today that makes me feel good? I use my daily docket. And what that does is just reminds me that, like, hey, did you take your vitamins today? Did you have a smoothie today? Did you work out? Did you, I'm trying to think of all the things on my daily docket. Did you read for 30 minutes? Did you write for 30 minutes? Did you write in your journal? The types of things that make me happy every single day, that if it were a perfect day and I could do all these things in a day, I would. Sometimes I go to my daily docket when I just need to refocus the day. Say I got a late start, or I really was off in the morning, or I got thrown off in the morning by maybe a phone call or something. I will use this daily docket to kind of recenter and reframe my focus. So when you have that daily docket, it's extremely important to have it somewhere that you can access it and just kind of look at it. I have it in a notebook that I use every day, and I just go look at that. I also have a copy on my phone, and I just look at it whenever I need to. So one thing I want to actually say before we move on to the other points are, when you're starting your day, I always like to kind of remind myself of something that Jim Rohn has said, which is end your day before you start it. And the thing about that I love is basically you outline your day either the night before or at breakfast when you wake up. Generally, it's supposed to be done the night before, but sometimes you might wait and do it the morning of. And what that does is really allows you to see what you're trying to accomplish throughout your whole day. So just like the daily docket, this is something that you use per day as a full schedule. When you're working from home, it really is important to have tasks that you would like to accomplish and how and when you're planning to accomplish those tasks so that you can stay on task throughout your entire week. One of the ways that I like to in my day before I start it is I use those work periods that I was talking about earlier, and I really put in everything that needs to go into that period of time. So as an example, I work generally from about 9 o'clock to 2 or 2:30. Generally it's 9 to 2. And that's the same amount of time that my kids go to school as far as it's homeschooling. So homeschooling, and when they were in regular school, I would usually get home and ready to work after working out and everything by 9 o'clock. Now with this new homeschooling schedule, generally I get up around 7 and I do whatever I'm going to do, whether you putz around or you work out or whatever it is you're going to do between that 7 to 9 period. And then I'm sitting down by around 8:35 eating breakfast with the kids while they're starting school, getting them all set up. Then I can start my work at 9 o'clock. And then from 9 to 2, I use periods of time where I will take breaks, and that's one of my tips later. I use this period of time where I will schedule out the tasks that I want to get done. So from 9 to 2, I know that I have all these tasks that I want to get done. Now at 2 o'clock, we have like a shutdown period, and I really do recommend that you use startup and shutdown signals for yourself, like that tell your mind and your body and your kids and your family that you are starting to do something, or that you're not starting to do something, or that you're closing down or you're done. Now this can be a physical barrier. This can be, for me, it's generally my headphones go in, unless we're all listening to some sort of music to help us focus. And they know that if that music comes on, that means that it's time to focus. And when that music is off or it goes ding, and I'll tell you what app that is. But when it does that, that means that we can all take a break for a few minutes, whatever, go do whatever you need to do, take a walk, go whatever, 10 minutes, I only have 10 minutes. But once I do that, then we come back and we start that music again, and it's time to get started. So sometimes if it's just me working and say it's a weekend and I want to work on something, I will put on my headphones and I will sit at the dining room table and I'll just sit and do whatever I want to do with them. If I need a lot of time to myself, maybe I'll go into a room or I'll go into a bedroom, and that is the boundary that I'm setting. So make sure that you set up your day in a way that you understand when your start and stop times are, and also your family understands what those start and stop times are. So that brings me to number 5. Number 5 is share your boundaries. Help people understand when you're trying to step away to do something and focus. I talk to my kids and I let them know, like, hey, I'm about to go do X, Y, and Z. Like today, I'm here, I'm recording. I had to let them know I'm going to be in here recording for a while, so please do not interrupt me. Try to make sure they have something that they can do and they're focused on. And it's just a way of communicating with them. I feel like letting them know that you guys understand, mom's going to be doing something. I'm not going to be able to focus on whatever you want to do. And when I'm done with this, I'll be able to totally focus. And I do feel like it's instrumental in really being able to up-level your productivity, because everybody is aware of what you need and they can give that to you, and they can respect those boundaries that you've set. The other boundary that I talked to you about earlier was putting in my headphones. That just lets everyone know in the house that right now I'm not going to be available. I'm here, you see me, but I'm not available because I'm focusing on something. So it is important that when you share those boundaries with people, they do understand that, like, you know, you're trying to get something done. And generally people respect that, even your family. So it is important to really have those boundaries, show people what that boundary looks like, and ask them if they will respect it when they see it. So number 6. Now, this is probably one of my favorite tips. I have been using an app called the Focus app for a long time. And I realized that it also had this nifty little timer thing that goes in there. I have also always worked off of the Pomodoro method, and that is a method where you focus on something for 25 minutes, then you take a break for 5 minutes, you go back to focusing for 25 minutes, so on and so forth, 5 minutes, 25 minutes. Okay, so you take that little break, go get some tea, go walk, whatever, go outside, change laundry, whatever you want to do during those 5 minutes, talk to whoever, and then you sit back down and you go for the next 25 minutes. Basically, per hour, you get 1 or 2 breaks, and then you sit down and you focus. I love that method of working. It works well for me, and I love the Focus app. I do pay for that per month. I mean, not per month, I'm sorry. I pay for that per year. It's a yearly payment. And but you can try it out for free, and you will just have like, I think you have, it'll give you like some interruptions, and I don't know if you have access to the timer. I don't think you do. But you can set your own timer on your phone and then use that Focus app. It has also really been a huge help to my kids on productivity. We turn that music on, and then we all sit down and we do whatever work we need to get done. So my next tip is, which you probably already figured out, is to invite your children to have a family workspace. Like our family workspace is at the kitchen table, and generally everything is off. Like there's no TV, there's nothing else going on. And my husband really respects this. But when we are working and it's kind of school period, I sit there with my computer. They both sit there with their respective computers or work or whatever they need. And I'm able to still work with them if they need me, but overall I'm just there. The focus music is on and everybody's working on their stuff for 25 minutes. Now that focus is a little more difficult for my 10-year-old than it is for my 13-year-old, but it's still a good habit to start building on and working through. And I knew that when I started that it was going to be a tough habit, but it is something that actually really works. And when they see you try to focus and you're sitting there and you keep reframing their focus, it is something that eventually they do grow into and will hopefully help them even later in life. So it's something that I really enjoy. They look forward to that timer. I set it on the Focus app and I put it in the middle of the table so everyone can see how much time we have left. And then when it goes off, everybody's free to get up and go do what they'd like. So I think that adding that piece of a familial workspace and something where everyone knows when we sit here, this is what we're doing. This is the focus of the period of time that we're going to be here. And they all have a printout of how the day runs and what the day looks like. You guys can find a sample of my daily docket and a sample of the work day that we use for our school day. You can find a sample of that also on my blog. So one of the things that I have found as my next tip is that when you're trying to focus, a lot of things pop into your head. You're like, oh, I need to change the laundry. I want to do this. I want to clean this out. I need to do that. I need to go to the store. I need to get this. All these things pop into your head. So a lot of times I will have a notebook that's sitting next to me, and I will just write all of the things that pop into my head when they pop in there on that list so that it's out of my head. I'm done with it and I can keep focusing and just stay focused on what I'm trying to do. So that's really important to do. It's even more important to make sure that you go back and look at it, because sometimes I do forget to do that, but I always feel like at least it was out of my head. I don't have to worry about it anymore. So create an ongoing task list. This is something that is very, very helpful, especially during this period of time. We're not able to just get up and go do whatever it is we need to go do, or reach out to someone maybe right when we want to reach out, or whatever the case. So just write it in your task list, and then maybe at the end of the day when you're resetting for the next day, you can actually go in here and use that list that you were running, that running list, and write out what you're going to do for the next day. The hardest thing is just not to get distracted and to really try to stay focused on the task at hand in that work period of time. And then if you end your day, like when I end my day at 2 o'clock, generally I'll make a list of the things that I did not get done or that I want to restart on the next day, to make sure that I'm staying on course for whatever my plans were for that week or for your year. The next piece of that is, and my last piece, and this is the most important really of all of these, besides number one, is to really, really, really listen to yourself. okay? There will be some days when your kids just aren't going to be focused enough to do the work. And in California, they've closed all the schools for the rest of the school year. So I'm recording this in April, and I know it's going to be rough for us. It's going to be rough. And I know that there are going to be days when they're not going to have as much focus as I would want them to, and that's okay. Listen to yourself, listen to your children, listen to what everyone needs, and go with that. Like, you are an amazing person for even being able, or even trying to attempt to do this. We never ever thought we'd be in this situation, but we are, and so we're doing our best, and realize that you're doing your best, and don't ask any more of yourself than just that. Like, if you feel like your kids need to go outside and play during your work period, then let them go outside and play. If they need a break and they want to veg out one day, and you can do that, and they don't have anyone they have to like sign into. My daughter actually has to sign into school, so, but my son doesn't. And so like, if he needs that day, then I'm gonna let him do that, because we've got a lot of days to make up on that time. So just realize that this does not have to be perfect, and it won't be perfect. Productivity will not be perfect. And once you know that, you give yourself a lot of grace, and you just do the best you can. And that's why that daily docket is so important, and that's why those work periods are so important. One thing I did want to also mention is, when I say listen to yourself, and maybe you need to start the day by relaxing instead of working, or you need to start the day with home period first and then work, do whatever works best for you and your family. Do whatever works best for you specifically, so that you can get through this period of time without hurting anyone. But no, seriously, like, just make sure that you spend some time with yourself to figure out what's the best way for you to set up your day, what works best for your family, and how are you guys going to get through this. But these are just a few tips that I wanted to make sure that you guys had, so that you have some tools to kind of work with, and maybe it's nice to know how other people manage it all. And anyway, I hope that really helps you guys. This has become a very long video, and I'm sorry about that. I will see you guys next week, and thank you so much for watching.